can come and go at will, our values get overridden and our representatives give us something else. That's how we end up with everyone saying they're against the war and occupation, but war and occupation still gets funding. That's how we end up with everyone saying they're against illegal spying on innocent people, yet end up with a telecom immunity bill being signed into law.
The Green Party made history last week when it nominated the first all-women of color presidential ticket in U.S. history. Former Democratic Congressmember Cynthia McKinney, the first African-American woman elected to Congress in Georgia, won the Green Party's nomination last Monday. She named longtime community organizer, journalist, and former director of the Hip Hop Caucus, Rosa Clemente, as her running mate. McKinney is among the most outspoken critics of the Bush administration, and one of her last measures as a Democratic Congressmember was to introduce a bill calling for the impeachment of President Bush and Vice President Dick Cheney. But McKinney left the Democratic Party late last year after serving 6 terms in Congress under both the Clinton and President Bush administrations. She said the Democrats had become no different than their Republican counterparts. She announced her bid for the presidency as a Green candidate earlier this year. We're joined now by Green Party presidential and vice presidential candidates. Cynthia McKinney joins us from Washington, D.C. Rosa Clemente joins us from Charlotte, North Carolina. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Cynthia McKinney, let's begin with you in Washington, D.C. If you were elected president, what would be your first act?
Of course, the first act would be to assemble a team in the Pentagon that believed in peace and the efficacy of diplomacy. And therefore, we would make sure that we put together an orderly withdrawal, but immediate withdrawal of all of our young men and women, not just from Iraq and Afghanistan, but from the more than 100 countries around the world in which our soldiers are stationed.
And what do you make of Senator Obama's trip right now to Iraq and to Afghanistan, where he said the real war on terror was diverted?
I think it's important that any presidential candidate have the opportunity to do these kinds of fact-finding missions. But of course, one's lifelong activities ought to be preparation for running the most powerful country on the planet. I would just like to say something about your headlines, your opening headlines. Amy, I came into this room this morning full of hope and enthusiasm for the fact that the Green Party had provided an opportunity for Rosa and me to kickstart the kind of movement that this country needs. And yet, these headlines from this morning, torture, war, violence, murder, hate crimes, I think it's clear that not only does our country need a new set of values at the helm, our country needs an opposition party like the Green Party that has the values of the Green Party so that we can finally see the values that I believe are the majority values of the American people implemented in our public policy.
Cynthia McKinney, right now there's a lot of talk about who the Democratic and Republican presidential candidates will choose as their vice presidential candidates. Can you talk about your criterion and why you chose Rosa Clemente?
I've known Rosa for a very long time. Rosa has participated in many of the congressional briefings and brain trusts that we held with respect to the counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO, and the impact of the kind of disclosures that we saw from the ACLU with respect to Maryland's surveillance of people who dared to dissent. She has done that really as a lifelong activist with the hip-hop generation and understands the potentialities associated with being active and dissenting from the status quo powers and the policies of them. Rosa represents everything that is good and right about young people in this country. I'm reminded of the fact that it was high school students, university students that changed my life in the civil rights movement, they were unafraid to challenge the status quo. Rosa comes from that very same kind of commitment and tradition.
Rosa Clemente, it's great to have you with us. Can you talk about what it means to be the Green Party's vice presidential candidate, to be a vice presidential candidate here in the United States?
I mean, thank you for having me, Amy. It's a humbling experience, first and foremost. But, I mean, I'm a South Bronx, Puerto Rican-born girl, 1972. I was in the South Bronx when hip-hop, which is still now the voice of multiracial young people all over the world, began. So I'm humbled, but I'm ready for the work. I've been in a great tradition of student activists coming from the State University of New York at Albany in the early 90s to getting my master's at Cornell University under the mentorship of Dr. James Turner, and being a community organizer with the Malcolm X grassroots movement, but again under mentorship of the great late Richie Perez. So I'm humbled, but I'm also excited because I feel that many African-American, indigenous, Asian, Latino youth in this country, mostly working class, are completely disenfranchised and marginalized from a two-party system. There's over 40% of young people that still have not registered to vote, which shows their dissatisfaction with both the Republicans and Democrats. And I really want to bring the face of what hip-hop has always been for me, a voice of the voiceless, the mic that speaks truth to power, but also uses these elements to act against the status quo or the powers that be.
And what do you think, Rosa Clemente, are the most important issues right now? What are you going to be campaigning on around the country?
For young people right now, the most important issues is a dismantling of the prison industrial complex, a livable wage, dealing with the AIDS pandemic that is affecting disproportionately African-American and Latina young women, a real gender equity movement, a real movement where women, particularly women of color, are not marginalized in the media or at work, and really dealing with no health care and a lack of good public education, but also a lack of now higher education. No young person in America who can go to college should be in $100,000 debt. We are supposed to be competing with the best of the best, and we have over a 60% in some cities dropout rate of African American and Latino youth. So those are, I think, the most important pressing issues. And of course, an immediate withdrawal from Iran. And we must not be duped that a troop withdrawal in Iran could also mean a troop transfer in Afghanistan, and more young people, particularly white working class youth, being used as cannon fodder.
Cynthia McKinney, the other issues that you feel are critical right now that you're campaigning on, and what is your plan in these next few months leading up to November? How are you campaigning? I know you were here in New York this weekend. Now you're in Washington, and Rosa Clemente's in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I'll be back in New York on September 11th with the wonderful organization wearechange.org, who are planning a candlelight vigil at Ground Zero on September 11th, and after that, a series of benefits, actually, for the first responders who, of course, have been neglected and who have health effects now stemming from their activities in recovery and cleanup of the site. Now, I think it's important for us to note that our national leaders have decided that it's okay to spend $720 million every day for war and occupation. That number is according to the American Friends Service Committee. $720 million a day at the expense of a single-payer health care system in this country, like, for example, Medicare for All, like, for example, subsidizing education so that, as Rosa said, no university student graduates $100,000 in debt, as is the case with my cousin. We need to make sure that our young people are actually graduating from high school. We need to make sure that we are investing in our infrastructure and greening our economy, making sure that we are providing jobs and that there's job training and that those jobs are at a livable wage. These are not the things that the Democratic majority in Congress has ensured for all of us in public policy. Yet, they have continued to vote to fund war and occupation. And so on my birthday in front of the Pentagon, March 17th of last year, I declared my independence. And I would just like to say